Happy Friday, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Redhead Boy podcast. This is going to be a shorter one today. This is my review of the new episode of Marvel Studios' WandaVision, Episode 7, Breaking the Fourth Wall. So let's just dive into it. So, as always, we start the episode with a little recap of what has happened so far on WandaVision and what happened last week in episode 6. Wanda had to extend the boundaries of the Hex over the town to rescue Vision from falling apart. He found himself out of the Hex and was slowly getting torn apart because, spoiler warning, he is dead in the real life. In real life, in the MCU, he's dead. Couldn't get my words out then. So we find in this episode of WandaVision, we take on the sort of same style of our up-to-date sitcoms, such as Modern Family. Wanda is having a bit of a rough day after the events of what have happened in the previous episode, and she is struggling to take hold of her reality. Things are, let's say, a little bit glitchy as she's sitting in the lounge eating a bowl of cereal after sending the twins to Agnes's house because she just needs time to relax without the poor kids asking questions like where is Dad and what is happening and why they have superpowers. So the twins bugger off to Agnes's house and we see Wanda talking to the camera, as I said, in a similar style to the Modern Family sitcom. Great show, by the way. Yeah, really funny, especially in the early series of the show. But anyway, so she's dealing with that and she's, struggling to keep things together. Things are changing around the house without her knowing, like the decor, the stork from previous episode shows up. So she's really struggling to, at this time, keep track of this reality, the hex that she has made for her and Vision and the kids. While this is happening, Vision wakes up lying on the grass where we were left with him as he wakes up having to recover from his traumatic nearly getting ripped apart. And because the boundaries of the hex have been increased, we saw in the last episode loads of the Sword agents get sucked in to the hex and become a circus and circus clowns. And we also saw that the character Darcy, the proper science nerd from the Thor films, played by Kat Dennings. She's really good. I'm super loving her character. I just like her demeanor. She's just I'm loving seeing her character again in the extended MCU. and Vision ends up using his powers to take her out of this daze, and they find themselves trying to get back to Wanda, and Darcy is pretty much bringing Vision up to speed of what has happened outside the Hex in the real world, telling him that he is dead, that he was killed by a space god, Thanos, and that Wanda had to see him die twice. I think the main interesting twist for this show was that we find out that Agnes is not the nice neighbour, but she's actually a witch, which is a bit random. I don't read the comics, so I don't know her character. Her name is Agatha something, and yeah, she happens to be a witch, and she is the big baddie that has been revealed. I was waiting for it to be Mephisto that everybody was talking about, that apparently is a big villain in terms of the Wanda comics, but it just happens to be this witch, and the episode ends with Agnes stroking her rabbit and saying, "Wanda, surely you didn't think that you were the only one with magical powers in here, did you?" And we see this like montage of all the havoc that Agatha has caused throughout the duration of WandaVision. So it will be super cool to see what Agatha will do as a character, how she will be up against Wanda, and we will find out what happens to the twins. But overall, this was a really decent episode. Not as good as the last two, but really good. Oh, and also there was this really good altercation with Wanda and Monica Rambeau. She finds herself forcing herself back into the Hex to try and save the day, really. Try and be the big hero. And it's obvious that I believe it's the 4th time that she's gone through the Hex. It's obvious that it has changed her cells dramatically, that she has now got some sort of superhuman ability. But I knew that was going to happen because I heard, from other reviews and other YouTubers that Monica Rambeau ends up becoming a superhero. So obviously this is the beginnings of her start as becoming a super being. And they have a really sick altercation. Great acting by both. And yeah, we shall see. We shall see what else this show brings. So overall, not as good as the last two, but still good. We're still moving forward, and we're still getting into the real nitty-gritty, interesting bits. Yeah. So, WandaVision, Episode 7, Breaking the Fourth Wall. So, that was my first initial reaction to the brand new episode of Marvel's WandaVision, Breaking the Fourth Wall. I would definitely have to, once this show has finished completely, I will have to binge watch it and watch the episodes again, especially these later ones. I've really got into this show now. Now we've dived into the perfect mix of the sitcom world and the MCU world. I feel like this show is really really got its legs, and we haven't got many episodes left. I think it's only. Do you know what? I think it might be like 10 or maybe 8 episodes. I think it's got to be 10 because this is episode 7 and we've only just introduced a baddie. Well, a baddie in terms of like a traditional baddie. So it will be interesting to see where the show goes. But that is my review of WandaVision episode 7. Hope you guys enjoyed it as well, and let me know what you think of the show so far. So until next time, you guys take care.